This is the ACIS score sheet. You can see here the 3 domains being assessed: physicality, information exchange, and relations. Each domain was broken down further and a score was given to each piece. The score ranges from 1 to 4. 1 would be a deficit score. A deficit performance impedes communication and interaction and yields unacceptable group outcomes. The examiner observes this as severe deficit. 2 would be an ineffective score. An ineffective performance interferes with communication and interaction and yields undesirable interpersonal or group outcomes. The examiner observes a mild to moderate deficit. 3 would be a questionable score. A questionable performance places at-risk communication and interaction and yields uncertain interpersonal or group outcomes. The examiner questions the presence of deficit. 4 would be a competent score. A competent performance supports communications and interactions and yields good interpersonal or group outcomes. The examiner observes no evidence of a deficit.
For our assessment, we observed George. George is 12 years old and chose to play the game Othello in a one-on-one interaction with his father in his living room, which is a natural setting for him. The observation lasted about 27 minutes. The score sheet was filled out during and immediately following the observation. The following video highlights our observation and the rating of specific items from each domain of the assessment.
So you should go between this and this.
In this part of the assessment, we can see that George gestures for his father to make the move. According to the ACIS assessment, gestures refers to the use of nonverbal communication to supplement a verbal message. Throughout the assessment, George made numerous hand gestures to enhance his speech. I would rate George a 4 because he readily and consistently gestures, which supports the ongoing social action.
If you went right there, you get 2.
About 11 seconds into the video, we see a good example of collaborates. George helps his dad out with puzzle piece placement, saying you can put it here in between this piece, and they're working together towards a common end goal. I would say George's use of collaboration there was a 4. It was a competent performance. It supported his interaction, supported the communication, and yielded a positive outcome for the end goal of placing the puzzle piece down. George contacts his father by sort of playfully jabbing at his knee. He's able to imply that his dad is open to receiving that kind of touch and comfortable with being touched. I would rate this a 4 because he readily and consistently contacts when appropriate during the social interaction. He feels comfortable performing that action, and it supports the social interaction within this context. Here we see George struggle to articulate, that is to produce clear, understandable speech. This is likely because he's distracted and his position is changing as he's trying to realign his hat. But I would rate this a 2. It's an ineffective ability to articulate. There's some slurred words or mumble. The words aren't clear. So it would definitely be a 2 here.
What do you think about the weather? Is it my turn?
No, it's my turn.
In this clip, we can see that George is not focused on the conversation he was trying to pursue. He asks about the weather outside and then quickly shifts to asking, "Is it my turn?" When assessing focus, it is important to see that the client is attending to both what is happening in conversation and to the occupation being completed. Absence of distraction is very important here. I would rate George a 3. He had questionable focusing ability. However, there was no disruption in the ongoing social activity in which he was trying to complete.
How many do you think is a lot to get in one thing in this
We can see in this clip that George has no problem with asking questions regarding the game. We saw this briefly in the first clip when he asked, "Who should go first?" I would rate George a 4 because he consistently asks questions throughout the activity to enhance the game and the social interaction.
That was pretty good. That deserves a high five. That was a high five. What about that direction, that direction, that direction? What about one direction?
It does in like 5 directions.
It's like